It's really popular these days for people to come out and say, oh, your strategy is not the problem. It's a lack of clarity or a lack of alignment or a lack of something else. And then they go on a long tirade about how they can help you fix that thing. And that's what today is too. Except I'm not going to tell you that your strategy is not the problem, because it might be. It probably is. A lot of people are doing bad strategy. If you want to know the difference between bad strategy and good strategy, go look up Rumelt, R-U-M-E-L-T. The title of the book is Bad Strategy, Good Strategy. Or is it Good Strategy, Bad Strategy? Anyway, great book. Go check it out. But today, the focus is our next installment of the above average team member principles. Today, we're talking about the alignment problem. And this is where we need you to understand the mission and live the values. So today we're going to do those two things. We're going to explain core values, in case this is your first time tuning in. And we're going to talk about the mission, what it is, and why it's not the same thing as a vision statement, even though they're often confused. And then we're going to talk about how these things overlap in real life. Because values that don't change behavior are just wall decorations, and you don't need more of those. So let's start with core values. Core values are much more than just what you believe, or the vibe you feel when you walk in the office, or the artwork that you hang on your walls with inspiring words. Core values are your non-negotiable decision-making rules. It's the things you will do. They answer questions like, what do we do even if it's inconvenient? What do we refuse to do even if it would make us money? How do we treat people even when stress is high? This is real culture. It's the pattern of behaviors that a group defaults to when it's under pressure. Values are real only when you protect them and live them. So in adaptive strategy design, core values are our compass. They're the foundation for our behavior. They don't necessarily tell you where you're going to end up, but they tell you what direction is true north when you're trying to find your way. And values really matter when there's a cost, when there's pressure. If your values never cost you time, money, popularity, or comfort, are they really values? Now let's move on to mission. A mission should answer, what do we do, for whom, and then how do we do it? 3 parts. Who are we serving? What do we want to become? And how are we going to serve? What's the method or approach or operating style? So if someone asked, what is this team actually here to do? The mission should give a usable answer. It should be inspiring to both your clients and your team members. It's not poetry, it's not branding copy, it should be a usable, functional answer. Peter Drucker hammered this point home. The most fundamental question for any organization is, who is your customer and what value do you create for them? Writing your mission statement should force that clarity. In adaptive strategy design, mission is our trail map. Values are our compass. Mission is the trail map to help guide us through the obstacles that we're going to face on the road to our vision. You can have a trail map without a compass. You can be efficient, and you can move fast, possibly in the wrong direction. And you can have a compass without a trail map. That's how you may get righteous wandering, where you're performing great values, but no coordinated outcomes. Great teams need to use both. Now let's talk about the overlap a little bit more. This is the whole point of this particular episode. When a team is functioning well, Mission and values work together like this. The mission tells you what matters most in the work you're doing. The values tell you what matters most in the way you're doing the work. So when you're at a decision point, you should be able to ask, what's our mission say? Does this help us serve the people in the way that we serve, in the way we say we're going to serve them? And then a values check, is our choice consistent with our non-negotiables, especially as pressure rises? How about an example? Fast versus right. You're behind. You're stressed. You can ship something messy and hit a deadline. You can insert that crown with a slightly open margin because your cement will fill the gap. Or you can slow down and do it properly. If you reference your mission, what are we actually trying to deliver for the people we serve? And the values. Do we cut corners when we're stressed, when we're running behind? Or do we protect quality, integrity, excellence? If you say you value excellence or patient care or craftsmanship, but you sacrifice it the second you feel pressure, that's not a values failure. That's a truth revealing moment. It tells you what you really value. What's it say to you? How about another example? Every team has a version of the high-performing jerk. That person that produces better than everybody else, but they leave relationship damage in their wake. So look at your mission. Are you building the kind of team that can sustain the work you want to do? And what do your values say? Do you allow behavior that violates respect or collaboration just because the results are good? This is where above average teams separate from average ones. Average teams tolerate it and pay the culture tax. Above average teams address it early because values are protective rules, not decorations. So here's an uncomfortable insight for some. If you don't use the mission and values as filters, you still have filters. They're just accidental. Your default filters become things like convenience and speed and ego and avoiding conflict and making the loudest person happy and doing what you've always done. Mission and values are how you replace accidental filters with intentional ones. So, what do you want to do with this? You want to be above average. You don't need a title to be a culture carrier. Here's your move. When you're in a meeting or a decision point or a messy moment, say one of these out loud. Mission check. Who are we serving with this choice? Values check. Does this match what we say matters most? What value is this demonstrating? If we do this, what behavior are we rewarding? And if we don't do this, what behavior are we tolerating? Those questions are your survival tools. And yes, they can be said with a normal human tone. You don't have to sound like a laminated HR book or some Yahoo on a YouTube channel. Today, pick one decision that you're facing. Run it through your two filters, mission and values, and then act accordingly. Because clarity without action is just intellectual entertainment, and nobody needs more of that.